Horry and Georgetown counties, we welcome you back to Sound Off, heard weekly on your favorite radio station. And again, our goal at Sound Off is to deal with topics that are relevant to our young people and relevant to you, the community. And again, we are really excited to have as our very special guest this very intelligent, articulate, handsome senior at Coastal Carolina University. Y'all, let's give it up for our special guest, Mr. Robert Harris.
Woo. Hey.
My name is Claudine Lance Schofield, but more importantly, Sound Off crew, would you like to reintroduce yourselves at this time?
Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's your girl, Mercedes.
Good morning again, everyone. This is Avriel.
Good morning, people. This is Ishmael. That is Ishmael. Practice saying that name while you listen to this radio show. Thank you.
that get me every time.
Ishmael.
It's almost like a...
Hello, people. This is Ishmael.
And again, our very special guest is Mr. Robert Harris, a senior at Coastal Carolina University. And you know what, Robert, the first two segments, we didn't give you the opportunity to tell Horry and Georgetown counties who exactly is Robert Harris. Give us a little background about yourself.
Well, I'm a native of Rock Hill, South Carolina. Born August 23rd, 1991. I'm 21 years old. Been through a lot in my life. That's why I'm driven with a lot of things. I don't know exactly what you want to know. I'm a musician.
Yeah, good musician.
I'm a student at Coastal Carolina University, and I'm just happy that y'all even invited me on the show and just to see young people doing work. I'm just happy to be here.
What is your major at Coastal Carolina?
My major is communication.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Perfect field.
Thank you.
What we were talking about, and I'm really excited about this program, is called AAIM, African American Initiative for Males.
Yes, ma'am.
Mentoring Fellowship Group.
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm just elated because with all the negative images and the negative reporting we're getting lately as it relates to African American males, it is so wonderful to have programs such as this on campus. But what I want to know about, Mercedes asked during the last segment, and I want to piggyback off that a little bit. Let's talk about how has the females responded to such a wonderful mentor. I'm going to do that part again, Michelle. How has the females on the campus of Coastal Carolina University responded to the AAIM program?
Well, you know what? I have to really admit, the girls on campus are like very jealous. I don't know if that's the right thing to say, but they are very jealous. This past week, we got dressed up, all the guys. We went to the State House Convention on the 26th. All the girls like, where y'all going? Like, why y'all dressed up?
Wow.
You know, why we don't know about it? Like, they always try to come in and see what we are learning, or what we're talking about, because they have sorority groups and everything like that, but it's never real. Like, it's never a bond. Like, you just can't come and talk about anything without getting talked about when you leave out of the room. So
Okay, I can't let you dog the women out now.
I'm just being honest.
Okay, all right, okay, all right, all right.
They are really, really trying to figure out what
What's
we're
going
doing,
on.
because
Yeah.
it's rising so quickly. So Maya Burney, one of the girls I work very close with, is actually inspired her to start a girls mentoring group.
Wonderful.
And I made a connection for her. I went to Dress Barn in the Coastal Grand Mall, and I just spoke with the lady about 15 to 20 minutes. I said, look, if I wanted to bring about 10 to 15 girls and just pick them out of outfit, what would you be able to do for me for, bringing these young women in and show them how to dress when they go to the interview, show them how to dress when they go to church and stuff like that? She said, well, you know what, I'll give you 50% off of all of it.
Wow.
So one thing that we're going to start with them is just simply, the program. We kind of trying to come up with a name for it. We thought about foundation, something like that for women. And, of course, I like acronyms. It got to have, like, something that's
Right,
gonna touch you.
right.
So we're still working on that, but
Okay.
it's encouraged Maya Burney to actually start her own women's mentoring group
Wonderful.
also.
So
Yes.
men are setting the standards high, and then you hoping that the women will follow suit.
Yeah, that's right.
And, and as a female, a lot of times we have issues with young ladies. If you're not selling it, stop advertising it.
Oh, yes.
So let's talk about that, because a lot of times when it's coming from a female, they take offense to it. But what is your standards? How do you feel about overexposure as it relates to young ladies?
Well, as a young man, I used to like it. I have to be honest. I used to like it.
Right.
Show it to me, But now it's like you look at a woman totally different. I have to look at my mom as an example.
Good.
My mom set the standard for me because I was like, you know, you go to a club atmosphere, and don't get me wrong, I'm not goody two-shoes. I've been everywhere in the world and
Right.
did everything.
Right.
So I look at a woman now, it's like I find myself talking to an older woman because they already have went through that stage. But I want to get to where we grasp those younger women and say, hey, look, you don't have to do this to attract me. Just be yourself. You know, if you don't show it to me, then I have something to wonder about. You know, and everything shouldn't be sexual. I should be wanting you for your intelligence and what you're going to offer me as a woman, as a family basis. You know, that's definitely what the focus should be, not, you know, what your body looks like or what you can give me sexually.
Yes. You know, I'm excited about this. That's why we do Sound Off. Mercedes, what did you have, sweetie?
I was just wondering about when we were talking about this when we were on our break. You had mentioned that you, your group, the AAIM, y'all
Yes.
get together and y'all have y'all real talk and y'all, I don't know, I guess y'all powwow. I don't know
That's
exactly
right,
what y'all want to
yeah.
do. Like, but can you explain exactly what your definition of y'all real talk would be?
So what we do, we get a room that holds about 120 people. We send out a mass email probably like 2 weeks before and say, hey, guys, come out to the real talk session. So we get pizza, wings, and drinks. We pay for all the food ourselves. All they got to do is come. But we make the guys dress up in shirt and ties when they come. We put random pictures on the board, mainly rappers, recording artists, and say, what do you think about this old woman? Like we have Beyonce or somebody like that. And we actually let the guys just say random things. Like this is first thing that come to mind. They can cuss. They can say whatever first comes to mind because they're going to do it out in the community. So why not bring it in to an enclosed setting where we can all talk about the same thing? So we put pictures up there, and then we hit them with informational facts. Like, do you actually know who your icon is? The statement was made a couple weeks ago by a young guy we were mentoring. He said, you know, what am I supposed to do when my only role models are rappers and basketball players or rappers and football players? Like, we actually give information about that person and, like, you know, to say that's a limited field. You know, not too many guys make it to the NFL. Not too many guys make it as a rapper. You know, that's a selective field. So you got to have knowledge. One thing anybody can't take from you is what you know. So that's what we try to tap into those guys. Like, if that's what you look forward to, then think again.
Okay. Ariel?
Earlier you mentioned that you were recently at Conway High School,
Yes.
mentoring to the high schoolers there. But does this program extend beyond high school level, like perhaps like middle school or elementary school?
We haven't got that far yet, simply because then you get into legal laws, what you could talk about. With the high school students, they're pretty much exposed to what we are exposed to as college students. We are just trying to encourage them to do something and come out of that, you know, out of that problem area that they are in now. Now, going into the elementary schools and the middle school students, they kind of still, you know, listening to their parents. So they still have those guidance counselors that influence them. When you get to high school, you pretty much, you know, you're growing up, you're maturing, you think you know everything. That's when we need to, that's the really the part where we need to tap into. Then it'll be, you know, kind of like a domino effect. Those guys will go tell their little brothers and their little cousins that are in middle school and elementary. We want to catch those high school students.
Okay.
Well, during the break, you told us that you had a slogan for your program. Would
Yes.
you mind repeating that and telling me what the meaning of that slogan is?
For African American Initiative for Males, we have a slogan by, it's called A Day of Change Promotes a Progressive Future. We believe that if we just change some lives in one day or just speak to some guys in one day, eventually, you know, we're going to have an effect on many. So we use as a slogan, A Day of Change Promotes a Progressive Future.
Okay. And I know you deal with several topics, but we know one of the problem that's plaguing our community as it relates to African American males, gangbanging,
Yes.
drug dealing.
Yes.
So do you deal with issues such as that and even sagging? I mean, I noticed
Yeah.
you dress to the nine and with the bow tie, but
Yes.
is that one of the topics that you deal with as well?
Yes, ma'am. All of the guys that are pretty much on the steering committee have a focus in each one of those areas. For me, I always talk about networking. Unfortunately, I was involved in some drug-related activities when I was younger. But the thing is, I never sagged. I never wore baggy clothing. I used to dress like this because it always threw people off. They never expect me to do things like that. But I always say, if you can network how to sell dope, sell drugs, then you can network how to make a prosperous business. It's the same thing. You know, you just got to put your mind to it. It might not be quick, fast money, but you can still do it. Another thing is we do address sagging. A lot of guys don't understand where they actually derive from. Of course, it came out of prisons, but it actually means some other things to some different cultures. I'm not going to say all of that, but
Right.
you put two and two together, you know what I'm talking about. We'll address that, and we'll address how that makes you look, even if you're a good person, just by the way you present yourself on first perception or a stereotype. That's how that person is going to look at you the whole time you're talking. They're not even going to be focused on what you're saying.
Okay. We have a parent. Mercedes' dad is here, and I know you look like you have something to say. Come on over. Come on over. I want to get as a father, and you have sons. What is your take on this wonderful program that we're talking about on this morning?
Well, I like what this young man is saying. It's about time that something like this happened. And he sounds like a great, educated young man. It's the same thing I go through when I go to get my hair cut. I'm 52 years old. I hear all these old men sit here and complain about these young men. But you can't complain unless you're doing something about it. I mentored 20 guys, young boys, and stop them from being gangbangers, doing drugs and stuff. You got to give them the motivation and let them know that someone's out there that's trying to teach them. Just like it always says in the Bible, it takes a village to raise a child. And a lot of these men out here, all they doing is complain. Stop complaining. Do something about it. The reason why they're doing things that they're doing is because they don't know. So we have to teach them.
Yes, sir.
Wonderful. See, wonderful to have a parent
Yes, sir. I
perspective,
really
especially
appreciate
African American male. So going back to all of this wonderful information, you know I am elated. This is exactly what we need. What if we have people from Horry and Georgetown counties that are listening, some males, and they want to become involved?
Yes.
Let's give some information about that.
If you want to become involved, we do a lot of things on campus. I've actually made some connections on campus to where we can have off-campus students come to our events. So what we can do is from now on, I don't know what the regulations would be for us getting announced, getting the information announced on the show. But
we'll get it out.
since I see that
yeah.
you're interested, soon we're going to be having game nights in our small gymnasium, our old Kimber Arena. We're going to be having a basketball tournament. We're going to do a lot of stuff with the males. And then we're going to follow up with a real talk session, and then we can kind of get the parents involved. And I would ask the gentleman that just spoke, if you have any guys that would like to come out, or if you would just like to come and tell your life testimony, you never know. You might have something that we can't offer, so we can use anybody that we can get to come out and speak to us.
Oh Lord, don't bring them
Yes,
out
sir.
to that. Don't
Yes,
bring
sir.
them out to that spades game. Please don't bring them out to that spades game.
And see,
We
that
will
sounds like
shut
fun.
it
So
down.
you're incorporating fun, but yet you will empower these young men as well.
Yes.
Okay, and we absolutely need that. We have some issues that are going on, and so I'm just really excited that your group has taken a stand. And like Mr. Johnson said, don't talk about it, be about it.
Yes, sir.
So let's reiterate everything we talked about in terms of what the program, what it stands for, how it came about real quick, and then we're going to do some shout-outs.
All right. African American Initiative for Males started in 2010. We have done numerous things on Coastal Carolina University's campus. Still looking to make a change in our society. Again, if you would like for the guys to come out and speak, just contact me, Robert Harris, at 803-448-4113, or you can contact Ms. Schofield or the Office of Multicultural Student Services on our campus, 843-349-2863. Again, A Day of Change promotes a progressive future. That is our slogan. And, just with things like this, we are, it's just, I'm lost for words. It's just amazing how the background that I come from, the things I go through right now, that I'm able to sit on the show and speak about what I've done and what we've done. And I just.
You know what came to mind, Robert, is each one, teach one.
Each
And
one,
it does
teach
take a healthy village
Yes.
to raise a healthy child. So, Sound Off crew, let's give it up for Mr. Robert Harris.
Appreciate
And
it.
also in our first segment, let's give it up for our very special guest also, Miss Maya Bernie.
Hey,
Give it up.
Thank
At Sound Off, we never ever allow you, Robert, to leave without giving you the opportunity to shout some people out. So who would you like to shout out at this time?
Oh, man. Oh, God.
And we're going to bring Maya back on to give her shout outs as well.
First I want to thank God first, who's helped me get to where I am now. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank my mother, my father, Robert Harris Sr. I love you to death. I know you probably don't even hear this radio station, but I just want to say it anyway, because without my father, I wouldn't be the man I am now. Mr. Canberra Ward, man, he's like a brother to me, a father, whatever you want to call him, even though he's only 26 years old, man. He showed me a lot.
I would first like to give honor and thank God for the opportunity that He's offered me with. I would also like to thank my parents, Brenda and William Burney, and I would also like to give a big round of applause and thank you to Rob for giving me the opportunity to help him out with his various event. And also, I would like to thank Canberra Ward. He's like a big brother to me as well with giving advice. So I just would like to thank those few people.
I would like to shout out my wonderful father, Lawrence Johnson, for always encouraging and guiding me throughout my life of how to pick a very strong and future husband. So thank you for that.
Thank God, and shout out to my history teacher for all this homework.
I'm going to thank the first person that everybody else thunk first. I'm going to thank God. And I'm going to thank my father, Craig Conwell, for steering me into the good man that I am today. My mother, Tabitha Busby, who taught me how to be sensitive towards women around the world. And my sister, Imani Conwell, who just had her daughter, who was my niece, Kadrin.
And as always, a very special shout out goes out to this very fine radio station, to the tech crew, Tanisha Jones, Michelle DeBerry, holding it down on the ones and twos. A very special shout out and happy birthday goes out to my baby, my sweetheart, Courtney Danielle Schofield. Courtney will be celebrating a birthday tomorrow. Courtney, Mommy, Daddy, and Lance, we love you. And also a very special shout out to my family in the Dunbar community. Horry and Georgetown counties, God bless you. And remember, we sound off and
You can sound off too.